behalf of the Julie Bunn campaign, and of course Julie, and also our hosts Jeff and Julie Anderson, who had the tremendous courage to leave this place unattended with a whole bunch of unruly DFLers. We don't expect it to turn into Animal House, so please leave the place the way you found it. It's a special pleasure for me tonight to introduce the main speaker of the evening. We have had occasion to share a whole lot of different ventures over the years in many, many different fields. Vice President Walter Mondale.
Thank you, Phil, for that very kind introduction, and thanks for being my friend all of these years and all the things we've done together. It's always a joy to see you and be around you, and I'm very grateful for all of that. I see Bob and Charlotte Gavin are here tonight. He was president of Macalester, I think, when Julie was on the faculty at Macalester. And we appreciate everyone here, but we appreciate the special stars that show up as well. I came tonight because I'm worried about Minnesota and worried about our apparent inability to get things done. The fights that go on, the paralysis, the train wrecks, and I think that's new for our state. I know we've always had debates and so on, but right now, it's just as though any issue is not something that should be looked at and solved. It's another opportunity to have a fight, to have a stand down, to have some kind of shootout, and then leave the wreckage for the people of Minnesota to deal with. Julie Bunn is part of the answer of getting Minnesota back on the track, and we need to do that. She was a star at Macalester, an economist dealing with social issues and economic issues. She's a graduate of the Humphrey Fellows Program, which some of us put together many, many years ago. And that program picks the really gifted people, young people around Minnesota, and gives them a year to work here, abroad, in Washington, and so on, to develop that second tier of leadership that we depend on in our state as we move along. And Julie has shown all of that. She was a great member of the State House. She was recognized as one of the most gifted members. She worked on education. She was given many, many awards for her work in healthcare, and she's worked on a broad range of complex issues dealing with the environment and many, many other questions that we all need answers for, and we're not getting them right now. She served for 2 terms, am I right, Julie? And now she's a terrific candidate for this new state Senate seat. Joan and I have sort of a weekend home up there in Scandia, and there are Bunn signs everywhere up there. And based on my count over the years, you're now the leader in just as you will be in the legislature. Why can't we get into our heads that great public issues require debate, but usually if they need to be solved, they require sensible people of good spirit to sit down and even, guess what, compromise. It's essential. I served in the U.S. Senate for many, many years, and those are the years was a high tide. We passed all the Civil Rights Acts, we passed Medicare, all the environmental legislation, and every bit of it was done on a bipartisan basis. We'd sit down and work it out together before we went out, introduced the bill, and I think people like that because first of all we got it done, and secondly the public I think felt good about the fact that it was bipartisan. That it must be something good about this because both sides seem to support it. And we need some of that spirit, we need a lot of that spirit back in the legislature, because just as we seem to be paralyzed in Washington, so too has that fever struck us here in Minnesota. And we need to change. Julie is out there, a wonderful candidate with a wonderful record, with talent and skills exactly of the kind we needed, and a program that sets forth the kind of changes that we need. So I'm very, very glad to be here to support Julie and to have this room packed with people who feel the same way as I do. Julie?
Well, first of all, wow, one syllable. This is quite an evening for me, and a number of things come full circle and dovetail tonight. And I am so honored that Vice President Mondale joined us this evening as our special guest. I was privileged to be at the newly named Humphrey Mondale dinner in Minneapolis last Saturday evening. Took a break from the campaign. I rarely do that. I had to leave at 3:30 to get there on time, and that was door knocking time. But I did it because I needed a little inspiration boost midway through this process. And hearing further about the Vice President's legacy, and of course, hearing the amazing Bill Clinton give a great policy wonk speech
I think
with
he's
charm.
still talking.
was just the lift I needed at that time. So it was well worth the time out to give me that boost for the months ahead. So thank you, Vice President. And Shelburne, who's still here, thank you so much for being with us and for your and Donna's support this evening.